Hello my loves, in today's video I'm sharing how to do a flexi rod set with a heatless way to stretch your curls and save on drying time. To be as thorough as possible, details like parting, how many flexi rods I use, the size of the rods, and products are all included. You'll see how I prepare my curls for a flexi rod set and preserve them with a 2-week update to show how well they last at the end of the video. This method is super easy, great for beginners, and it can work for any curl type. Let's get into it. First up, I washed my hair with my DIY 𝐏𝐵𝐵 shampoo. 𝐏𝐵𝐵 shampoo has been a major staple in my hair care routine. It helps me to cleanse and detangle my curls all at the same time, which is an awesome time saver for me. It has amazing benefits. I have them listed on the screen so you guys could look at that. If your curls are properly cleansed, it's going to hold the curl of the flexi rod a lot easier, so definitely don't skip shampooing before you get into your flexi rod set. Next, I deep conditioned using an Ayurvedic hair mask, which has strengthening benefits. Because I'm going to be manipulating my curls quite a bit for this flexi rod set, I want to make sure that my curls are reinforced with healthy products. The ingredients of this hair mask are marshmallow root, moringa leaf, amla, just to name a few, and all of these have hydrating benefits, but most importantly, strengthening benefits. In particular, amla, which is also known as Indian gooseberry, it adds a certain resiliency to hair, and it contains calcium and tannin that protects the hair from sun and heat damage. Because I will be using heat to dry my flexi rod set, this is a very good quality for me to have in my hair mask. To save on time, you'll want to stretch your curls the morning before you plan on doing your flexi rod set. First, I divide my hair into 2 even sections or 4, depending on how stretched I want my curls to be. As a general rule, the curlier your hair is, the more sections you want to do to stretch it. If you want the option of drying your flexi rod set with a bonnet dryer, apply heat protectant next. I'm using my heat protectant also as my leave-in conditioner. It leaves my hair soft and silky, and it doesn't weigh it down. But if you want to air dry your flexi rod set, swap this out for a leave-in spray. And I say spray because you'll want to use something that's deeply hydrating without being heavy or greasy, which will weigh the flexi rod curls down and take much longer to dry. To add shine and lock in the hydration from my leave-in conditioner, I am using an herbal oil that I made myself in each section. And the next step I do is use flaxseed gel to lock everything in place and freeze my hair so that as it dries, it stays the same shape. You want to smooth down your curls as much as possible before securing it with a hair tie. A major trick to getting the smoothest ponytails is to slick your curls down with a tangle teaser first, then go in with a bristle brush. After the first section of your curls are secured with a hair tie, we're going to be doing a bubble braid all the way down. I use a hair tie for every few inches until I reach the bottom. This stretching technique is great because bubble braids air dry much faster than regular braids, and they stay in place better than twists.
And
Now honestly, if this is the very first time that you're doing your flexi rod set, it can get very overwhelming, so staying organized is really helpful when it comes to getting through it without wanting to tear your hair out. I feel like I say that a lot, and it's funny because I make a lot of hair tutorials, but if my voice sounds really strange, it's because I have a cold. Talking is very difficult right now, so I don't know, I'm doing the best I can to sound normal, but it's hard. If your hair isn't already divided into 4 sections from stretching your curls, section each half from ear to ear. When you're done, you should have 4 sections total. If you want a middle part with your flexi rod set, you could stop sectioning at this point. For this flexi rod set, I'm doing a side part, so from the front 2 sections, I'm going to divide that into another section in between the 2 parts. I'm brushing it out toward the direction I want my curls to fall and clipping it out of the way for now. At the end of this, I have 5 sections total. I have the top front section of my crown, 2 in the back, and 2 on the sides. The size of the flexi rod you use is completely up to you. It all depends on your thickness and length, but I'll share some general rules that can help you when you're deciding what size flexi rod will work best for you. The smaller the flexi rod, the tighter the curl. The bigger the flexi rod, the looser the curl. There are 2 easy ways you can use your flexi rods. First up, the rolling technique. Just take a small section of hair. I'm applying some flaxseed gel to help mold my hair to the flexi rod. You can use a mousse if that's more your speed. Detangle your curls thoroughly to distribute the gel. Brush it through with a bristle brush to help smooth it down. Then you want to smooth the ends onto the flexi rod. Starting from the bottom, roll the flexi rod up your curls as you see me doing. Bend it onto the hair at the root and the ends to lock it in place. For the wrapping method, follow the same exact steps. Apply styler, detangler, and smooth. At this time, place the rod at the root and then wrap your hair around the rod until you reach the very end. Once you're done wrapping it around the rod, bend it the opposite direction you wrapped the curl to help it lock in place. After I'm done with that, my flexi rod has issues staying bent, so I like to take a hair elastic, tie it at the end to keep it bent so that my ends don't get frizzy and lose the shape of the flexi rod. These 2 techniques give 2 completely different curls, which I'll show you a side-by-side comparison later so you can see for yourself. When you're installing the flexi rods, you want to start from the bottom and work your way up so that the flexi rods don't get in the way. And you can see that for the hair towards the nape of my neck, I'm grabbing quite a large section for a few reasons. The first being my hair is less dense and more fine in that area. I want to make sure that area is supported with enough hair that no breakage happens there. And second, using a bigger chunk of hair here creates the illusion of more fullness than if they were separated, super defined curls. As I work my way up my hair, I'm using smaller sections to create more defined curls on top of the lower section, and this just helps to balance everything out between fullness and volume and definition. If you use a smaller section of hair per flexi rod, you'll get longer lasting curls versus using larger sections of hair, which give less curl definition and will last a shorter amount of time. And if you have thicker, longer hair hair, larger rods will work best, and if you have fine hair, smaller rods may work best for you. I'm wrapping the curls towards my face because it's my preference, but you could wrap it in any direction you like, just as long as you do the direction consistently on your entire head. If you didn't get the hang of the technique the first time you did it, that's okay. I'm going to be doing it more times so that you can practice with me, get the hang of it. As I'm doing the rest of my rods, you'll notice that I'm not using any extra moisturizers because my hair has been prepped with a leave-in and oil, as you guys saw earlier. My hair has fully absorbed that at this point. The only thing necessary to add in is a styler for hold and definition. Flexi gel is water-based, so it will get damp enough to create definition, but not too wet that your curls will take forever and a day to dry, which I'm just not here for it. I don't have the time for that. I, in particular, never air dry my Flexi rod sets. I'm going to tell you guys why later. My best Flexi rod sets always start with Flexi gel rather than a mousse or a hair cream. I apply my Flexi gel from about mid-shaft down, barely putting any product on my root area, and for me personally, my roots take the longest to dry, and I found that doing it this way helps my Flexi rod set dry much faster than if I'm starting on freshly washed, completely wet hair. To get better curl definition, you're going to want to use about 20 to 35 rods total depending on your curl density and length, and it took me around 30 minutes to install 20 rods on my entire head. Depending on how much time you have, you can either use indirect heat to speed up the drying process or air dry. Today, I'm using a soft bonnet hooded dryer that I got from Amazon. I've had this forever. I don't even know if they still sell it anymore, but that's where I got it. I'm using low heat and high speed. I found that drying your hair more efficiently is not so much about the heat as it is about the concentrated pressure of air. The soft bonnet circulates the air through your flexi rods a lot faster, helping them to dry down more efficiently than air drying or using a fan. Drying your flexi rod under a hooded dryer or a bonnet creates frizz-free smooth curls, setting them properly in place. If you have a tender scalp like me, you get to take the rods out much sooner, which is welcome relief. For those of you who are worried about heat damage, this is extremely low indirect heat, which won't harm your hair, so you won't have to worry about getting heat damage, especially if it's been prepped properly like I shared earlier in the video.
One eternity later.
If you want to go completely heatless, you can try air drying overnight, or if you aren't in a rush, wait at least 5 to 6 hours before taking them out. The cons with air drying is that it will give you frizzier results and the Flexi rod set won't last as long. Sleeping on Flexi rods with damp hair can also cause a lot of breakage, and they can come undone in your sleep before it fully dries, basically undoing all of your hard work. Definitely up to you whether you want to do it that way. Flexi rods are very uncomfortable to sleep in, and I personally find that using my bonnet on low heat and high speed works best for my hair and leaves it just as healthy as it was before I did the Flexi rod set. After your Flexi rod set is completely dry, carefully unravel them without disturbing the curl. As I'm taking the Flexi rod down where I use the rolling technique, you can see that the curl is a little more of a narrow Shirley Temple type of curl, whereas the wrapped hair has a rounder wavy curl shape. They came out completely different. It's all preference. If you prefer to have more perfect narrow curl, then that would be the look for you, but I prefer to have a rounder, larger curl shape because I want it to look completely different from my natural curl pattern. To fix the rolled curl, I'm gonna wrap it around the Flexi rod dry without adding any extra product or wetting my hair down, and let it take the shape of the rod overnight. One of the best ways to get your Flexi rod curls to last longer is to not touch them after taking them out of the rods for the very first time. Leave it alone and just pineapple the curls, go to sleep, and allow them to sit in place overnight before separating and fluffing. Trust me, you want to allow the Flexi rod set to evolve naturally as much as possible without forcing it to happen. If you tend to sweat in your sleep, it's a good idea to allow your curls to breathe. I would nix the bonnet altogether, sleep on a satin pillowcase, and just use a satin scrunchie to pineapple your curls. Trapping in heat from your body into your bonnet can cause the Flexi rod set to frizz, and we don't want that. To minimize frizz and add more shine, put a little bit of oil between your hands. Start separating your Flexi rod curls. You only want to do this step when they are fully set and 100% dry. I'm looking for a spot where it naturally already wants to separate. I separate the curls and twist in the direction it was originally curled to set it back in place. I try not to do that too much so that I could give my curls room to organically, frizz up the way that they want. Next up, I just take a wide tooth comb. I fluff my roots out. I also do it with my hands, basically massaging my scalp to loosen up the curls a little bit, swing my hair around, scrunching out any of the flaxseed gel cast that may be left in my hair so that it could be soft and bouncy, and allow the curls to be nice and full. A little tip, you'll want to keep the curls that are framing your face. Don't separate those. Just leave them exactly as they are. It could give the illusion of the rest of my hair being defined. The face framing curls are always the most important. The simplest way to preserve your curls is to put them in a pineapple, either using a satin scrunchie or a scarf. Using a pineapple keeps the Flexi rod curls as tight as possible. It helps them achieve greater volume at the roots over time.
Love, love, love. You really caught my eye when I hit the town sneaking out last night. Really gives a vibe. Take it, then we kick it till the sun comes out. Make it feel alright. Come a little closer, baby, I won't bite. I do this for fun, but I wasn't really thinking you would call it love.
I normally keep this style anywhere from 10 to 14 days, depending on how well I preserve it and whether I refresh it or not. It started to naturally frizz, and I did not refresh that hair at all. I kind of just plopped it in a pineapple and just kind of left it because I didn't feel like doing anything else. When you're initially doing your hair, if you're thorough with it, you won't have to touch it up as much. Links for the Flexi rods I used and all the products I shared with you guys are in the description box, so make sure you check that out. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. If you guys have any Flexi rod tips, go ahead and drop those as well. For more videos like this, subscribe, like, and share this video. And as always, I'm sending you all the love, light, and good vibes, and I'll see you in the next one.